students, this will be video 3. So already we have seen goals of principal and goals and principles of guidance and counseling. So few more points you can add for goals of guidance, that is exploring self. So as we start guiding, it helps a individual to explore his own, their level of intelligence, their aptitude, interest, personality traits, development, and it determines values. And then setting goals, it helps to set goals for himself or herself, so they'll get to know where they stand and which kind of goals would actually help them to overcome the struggles. Then it explores the world of work, that is the value system of the world. Okay, so they will get to know, where they stand in the world. So, their value system, what is their contribution to the world, improving efficiency. So it helps them if they're not doing well. When we give guidance, they'll start studying properly, or if they're not working efficiently, when we provide adequate guidance, it helps them to improve in their work, building relationships. So it also helps them to maintain, good human relations with other people, accepting responsibility for the future. It enables a person to accept his or her responsibility towards the society, towards a family, so it helps them to gain or to accept their responsibility in the future. Okay, so these are few points or the goals which you can add under guidance. Okay, next we will go to basic principles of counseling process. So again, there what we have seen principles, you can keep it for guidance, and here in counseling you can write these principles and you can exclude those. So when we say about basic principles of counseling process, according to McDaniel and Shaftal, the counseling process is based on some basic principles. So whenever we do counseling, these principles has to be, bear in mind. Okay, that they have to follow this in order to carry out the effective counseling. So when we talk about that, there are different types. That is principle of acceptance, principle of permissiveness, principle of thinking with the individual, principle of respect of the individual, principle of learning, principle of consistency, and ideals of democracy. So we will see each in detail. So when we say principle of acceptance, according to this principle, each client must be accepted as an individual and dealt with as such. The counselor should give due regards to the rights of the client. So accept how the person is. Don't try to change him completely, but then accept in whatever state or condition he is when he comes to you. Okay, and try to give him, the respect, the due respect that he is due, the right that he deserves. Okay, that has to be given even during the communication or in the process of counseling. That is principle of acceptance. Next we will see principle of permissiveness. What do we say? What is permissiveness? It is great or excessive freedom of behavior. So permissiveness is nothing but giving him his or her freedom. Okay, so counseling in such a relationship which develops optimism and the environment shapes according to the person. All the thoughts accept the relative relationship of counseling. So it is important that when you give them a spirit of freedom, so when you give them a freedom of behavior, it enables them a state of optimism, that is positive attitude. And we can see that the person will also have a positive relative relationship during the counseling. He will be more cooperative. He will open up to you when you give him a freedom of behavior. Okay, then you have principle of thinking with the individual. So counseling emphasizes thinking with the individual. It's a role of counselor to think about all the forces around the client, to join client's thought process and to work collectively with the client regarding his or her profession. So it is important that you are able to think with them, so they will have their own thoughts process. So you don't ignore them, but then try to mingle with them and see what they are actually, trying to draw an inference through that thinking process, to work collectively. So work with the patient so that, it will be helpful to analyze the work, okay, and to help the person also. Principle of respect for the individual, it is just like the same how we accept the individual, so we should be able to give them the respect. So all the schools of thoughts of counseling advocate for the respect of the individual, that is respecting on individual feelings must be integral part of counseling process. You don't ignore them, you don't restrict them, but then give freedom accept them and respect them for their feelings, for their thoughts. Principle of learning, all the assumptions of counseling accept the person of learning elements in the counseling process. So try to learn, on the way of process. So many times, many people, like clients, when they come to a counselor, so they can be also few things that we would be able to learn from the person. So it should always be a principle of learning from each other. Principle of consistency with ideals of democracy. All the principles are associated with ideals of democracy. The ideals of democracy desire to accept a person and want to respect the right of others. So here, what is democracy. Actually, when we talk about democratic country, it is a government for the people, by the people, of the people. So here you consider the people, though he has come to seek your counsel. Okay, the counselee is still to be respected, still, and whatever you plan, it should be under the principles of democracy. It should be beneficial for that particular person. Okay, so these are the various principles that we have to keep in mind when we follow counseling. So in this video, we have seen extra points for goals of guidance. Okay, and then extra. Okay, so please write this principles for principle of counseling. So next topic, we will go into what are the steps involved in the counseling process. So when we do the counseling process, what are the various steps? Already we have seen, in the previous video, I think it is in the, video 2, there are various process, okay, that is established during the counseling process. Phases of counseling. This is steps that is involved in the counseling process. So when we say steps in counseling process, according to Newsom, he says the individual comes for help. So why does he come? Actually, there is a need. There is a, counselee requires some help. Okay, so that's the reason he is coming for help. The counselor, he establishes rapport. You know what is rapport? Maintaining IPR. Develop good, verbal communication with the person. Show interest in the communication. The helping situation is defined. Then he slowly starts to, tell what are the issues that he or she is facing. Then you have to be an active listener. So listen actively. The counselor encourages his client to give free expression to his concerns. Okay, catharsis. So what is that? Free expression. Give them freedom to their behavior, so that to the fullest the person will be able to tell out what are the problems. The counselor accepts, recognizes and helps to clarify negative feelings and limitations in the client. So during this time is when we'll have to diagnose what is the problem that he is able to prioritize. Okay, the problems that the person is facing should be diagnosed in this period when he starts talking. So as a counselor, we have to accept, we have to recognize, we have to help to clarify. So we diagnose. Then the counselor accepts and recognizes positive feelings, that is the towards the prognosis. So find out what are the positive things of a person, okay, and then development of insight of the client into his problem, counseling. Now first you acknowledge his positiveness, next you get into the problem that the person is facing, and we have understood what is the problem with the individual, and now we start doing the counseling process. Establishing new goals, to set goals with the person, growth of confidence and take decision, counseling. So you have to set goals with the person and then give him confidence and take decisions together. Follow up, do a follow up. So once when you have given him a set of interventions, ask him to follow and do a follow up. Call up, give a ring and ask, how are you doing? How is there any issues? Are you able to cope up? Are you seeing any difference? Okay, so that is following up. No more need for help, terminating the counsel. So once when the person is fully, thorough in doing all the interventions and that has actually given him a positive feedback, then what do? We terminate the counseling process. So these are the steps according to Newsom. Okay, next we will go to types of counseling. So what are the various types of counseling that is done? So here it is directive, non-directive, which is client-centered, then electric and group approach in nursing. Okay, so we will see what are the various types of counseling. First one is directive counseling. So here when you see is one in which the counselor plays a major role, and hence it is known as counselor-centered method. So here when we say directive method, here it is mostly based upon the counselor. So that is the reason we call that as counselor-centered method. So the counselor helps the counselee to make decision in keeping with his diagnosis. Okay, so the counselor, he helps the counselee to make decision. So as we have already seen, whenever you have to set goals, make decision with, the counselee. Okay, so making sure that with the counselee you make decision and with according to the diagnosis. He tries to direct the thinking of the counselee by informing, explaining and interpreting and suggesting. Example, treatment of doctor to patient. So here, so in case of any treatment, when a person comes, should I undergo, this kind of treatment, is that required? So what does the person do here? He tries to teach them, they tell them, about the various things, like he says, okay, this is how the treatment has to go, this is how you'll have to do the treatment. If you do the treatment, what are the prognosis percentage, and how fast you will recover. So that is one of the example for counseling. So we have to give them direction, thinking, inform them, explain to them, interpret them and suggest them. Okay, so these are the duties of the counselor. So limitations in this method is, counselor tells counselee to do what has to be done. So he gives him information, what he has to do. Then counselee becomes dependent on counselor. So what happens to counselee? He starts becoming dependent on counselor because every step will be ordered by the counselor. So here he becomes too dependent. Then counselee does not develop insight to his problem according to the principle of guidance and counseling. So according to the principles of guidance and counseling, we cannot make a person dependent upon you. You teach them and you give them a sense of freedom to follow, and you make them bold enough to stand alone to work out the goals, to bring out a positive attitude in their behavior. So once if that is not done, it becomes a negative impact. If the person is going to be too dependent on the counselor and every time they will be asking what to do, when to do, how to cope up, then it is not going to be a positive, attitude in the person. So no scope for fresh learning. So even the counselee is not able to, already we have seen there is the principle of learning, mutual learning should be there. So here in this we see, because only the counselor is teaching everything to counselee, there is no another behavior which is learned. Okay, there is no reason for fresh learning. Okay, so that is hindered. Scope, young children. So such kind of counseling can be given to young children, seriously disturbed person. Okay, but then if they are adults and if they are able to discern things, then we have to teach them and make them independent. So this is directive counseling, which is mostly counselor centered method. We have seen what it is. Example is treatment of doctor to patient, and then limitations. What are the various limitations and scope? So mainly this kind can be followed for young children and seriously disturbed person. Okay, next you have non-directive. So this non-directive method is given by Carl or Rogers. So counselor's role is passive. So here counselor is not that active like the directive. It is the client or counselee centered method. So this is client or counselee centered method. Counselee takes active part in the process of therapy. So they take initiation, okay, and they become active member, the part of the therapy. Then counselee is made aware of the fact that the counseling situation does not have the answers, but it provides. So here, they should be aware that, not all the problem will have answers, but it will be able to, counseling will be able to help them cope up with the problem. He gains insight to his problem with the help of the counselor. So the counselor should be able to point out his positive, his negative, and he should ask him, now you tell me how we can overcome this. So where a person will be, discerning the insight, or he will develop the insight to how to overcome the problem, then solves problem himself when he is able to identify, helps counselee to grow inward maturation and takes responsibility to solve problems. Okay, so here fully they just direct, but then they will be taking all the responsibility, the counselee itself. So limitations, when we say it is time consuming method, and then it is passive attitude. So we know that the counselor is actually, passive, so which might sometimes irritate the counselee. He will think, why everything is given to me and what is the job of this counselor? So in that case, the counselee can become irritated, and then he may become reluctant to express his feelings. So what he might become passive too. This method may not be suitable for children and disturbed person. For them, it cannot be used. So this is the second type. Third one, we will go to eclectic approach in counseling. So eclecticism has more than one meaning in counseling. One concept is the building of a theory by a counselor. As he gains experience, he builds his own style by selecting from various approaches and personality and learning theories. So as the counselor is actually gaining experience, what he does here is he builds up his own style of therapy, okay, or various approaches, how to use it for the benefit of the counselee. So role and preparation, when we say here, the counselor should be a good listener, he should be respectful, kind, he should be able to maintain confidentiality, non-judgmental, trustworthy, respectful, relaxed and calm when he is talking to the person, okay. And then, okay, so this is about the electric approach. So here it is nothing but the counselor, based upon the experience that he has gained, he will use his own style, approaches, theories to solve the problem that the counselee is facing. And there are few role and preparation that he has to do. It is almost like what we have seen earlier, okay, the characteristics that is required. Next we will go to group approach to counseling. So when we say group approach, it is a continuous technique where a group of individuals are counseled. It is not individual, but a group of individuals who will be counseled. That's why we call that as group approach to counseling. Method of group interaction is used to drive out solution to the problem. So as a group people come, it can be group of nursing students, or it can be group of engineering students, or it can be group of any other school students who come with a similar kind of issue. So how to rectify that? Every participant of the group has its own place and importance in this approach. So though they come in group, each individual is given attention. Each individual is considered to be the important part, okay, not ignoring anybody. Dynamic interaction occurs among the individuals of the group that's working out for a commonly agreed purpose. So in a group of 10, every person will be given importance to ventilate their feelings, what are their concerns and how to overcome. So opportunity will be given to every person in the individual, though they come as a group. Various important experiences and qualities are gained through this approaches. So you get to know, how to handle a group of students in a mass or in a group. So the counselor also gains a lot of experiences. So when they come in group, they also will give solutions different. So with this, we can be able to, tell the person, okay, to overcome all kind of, struggles that they are having. So these are the types of counseling process: directive, non-directive, electric approach in counseling, and group approach in counseling. Okay, so these are the various types, that is 4 types. With this we'll end this video. Next topic we will see in the next video.